Slides, I love these. I love using these at the start of my sessions. I usually use these at the start for my warm-ups, and I will usually do about 4 exercises to start off with. So with the first exercise, I'm gonna do about 3 leg exercises, and I'm gonna do 1 core exercise. Now this can be loaded or unloaded. I'm gonna show you loaded first, and then we'll do the unloaded ones. So basically what we're going to work with is, we're going to work with a reverse lunge. We're going to load the kettlebell up here on our shoulders, place it on our shoulders, the meat of the shoulders, and you're gonna put your toe onto the slide, and this leg is planted. So what we're gonna do is we're going to reverse lunge back and perform a lunge, lengthen out, stretch the hip flexor, and come back up. So the reason why I do these slide exercises is to lengthen and stretch the muscle before we start. Adds a little bit of mobility into the sessions before we hit the compound exercises. Now, the next movement that we're gonna do is we're gonna do a lateral lunge, and we hold this kettlebell. It's gonna stay in this position. It's just gonna go midline where we go here. Now, with this exercise here, we're working inside of our thighs. And once again, we're just activating the muscle groups before we start to reduce injury. And I really like using these exercises to start off. So now I'm gonna go on a semi squat, and I'm gonna lengthen out as far as I can, and then back up to the top. So from here, lengthen out, and then back up to the top. So we're trying to stretch as much as we can inside to hit the inner thigh, coming back down. So it's important to hinge in that exercise as well too, to minimize your back injury. Now the last 2 exercises, this one's a hamstring curl, activating the hamstrings before we start. Once again, this reduces injury before we start. With this exercise, girls, I want you to keep in mind that you're gonna use your heels and you're gonna dig them into the slides. So we'll keep this one nice and simple. We're just gonna lift our glutes up, and we're gonna lengthen out as much as we can. So the beginner version is to go all the way down and then come back up. The advanced is if, once again, you can keep that up to activate the hamstrings to start off. Okay? Now, our last one for core. I really like doing this exercise because it stretches the lats and it lengthens the abs as much as we can. So with this exercise, we want to be on all fours in this position, and then we're going to lengthen out and straighten as much as we can. So what we're focusing on is we're focusing on the time under tension, and we're lengthening out, pretending like there's a string pulling at both hands, and we're focusing on tempo. So real nice and slow. Now my core is activating, I'm keeping it tight, and I'm lengthening out my arms, now stretching my arms and my lats to come down, and then I'm coming back up. And then I'm gonna perform about 5 of these. This is my go-to for the slides and what I use in the sessions to start off with to warm up. I normally do about 2 sets of that whole circuit. I tell the girls to do 2 sets to start off before they start off their sessions. We lengthen it out and we come back down. 1 more. Now, those are my go-to warm-ups before we start our sessions. So now the girls know before they start our sessions, they could just come in and they know this exact routine before they start their sessions, before we get into the bulk of our 45-minute session. And that's how I utilize my time wisely.